Hello, it's Kevin here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to retopo this fabulous looking pumpkin that I've created. It's very rough, it's very quick, just something to use to demonstrate the retopology in 3D Studio Max. It's something my students have been asking for, so I thought I would just demonstrate it very quickly in Max using this pumpkin here. Okay, so the first thing to do, this is obviously way too high to use as any game model. You can see it's 650,000 triangles, and if we turn on edge faces, you can see it's just way too dense for anything useful other than baking our normal map from. So we're going to retopologize it. At least we're going to start retopoing it, and you can use the techniques that I show you in this video. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is you're going to make sure you're in modify mode over here, like that. Just click the modify tab, then over here you want to come into freeform, like so. And the main tools we're going to be using from here are these three here. You can use some of these other ones as we progress and go through, but these are the main tools for retopologizing your geometry. So the first thing we need to do is change this grid here so it says draw on surface, pink, like that, and you'll notice that pick appears below that button. You need to click on that and pick the high poly model, and we've only got one here obviously, so we're going to select that, and you can see it appears in here, pumpkin high model, which is the only one we have, which is very cool. Okay, so let's just start. We've got three options here. I'm going to take you through each one and show you what each one does, because they're all quite useful in their own way, although optimize should be used very carefully, and I'll show you why that is the case once we progress through this. Okay, so I generally start off by creating this. If we come back over here, I create, and we create a little plane down here, something like that. We make sure the length and width segments is 1. We don't want any more than that. 1, like so. And go to modify tab, right click, convert to editable poly, like that, and we have a little quad here. Let's just change the size of it a little bit so it's squarish, like so, and we're going to rotate that. That's it. We're going to move it into position, so we want to get it fairly close to our model, like so, in a spot that you can sort of start retopologizing on. So we'll get it to something like that. That's cool. Right, now you have to tell Max how far away from the high detailed model you want to draw. To do that, you use this offset number here. Now it depends on the scale of your model to how big a number you put in here. So the best thing to do is just try it out first. And the best way to do that is just do this. Put a number, say 0.01 as a starting point. Click on extend like this. Then hold down Shift, Control, Alt. And you can see that's just way too much there. So we need to undo that. So let's go back to the number and go 0.01. I think we had it at, and that's currently where this is right now, which feels about right, in fact. Yeah, it's probably a little far, but that's pretty good. You get what I mean. So now that is drawing on the surface. So if I move it up, you'll see that it stays 0.01 away from the surface, and you can see that by this polygon here is cutting through the high detailed geometry, and that's because it's sticking to that number. So we need to pull that bit down. So I think we can work with that for now. We could make it less, quite possibly, but you get the idea. Okay, so let's move along. Let's just move this over to the screen. You want to follow the contours of your model, and I was using this on a character recently, and I'm lucky enough to have an animator sat next to me, and I was asking him lots of advice on where he wants polygons placed, and the number of polys to use on arms and joints and things like that. And if you get access to that, then that's really useful, and you should do that as you progress. Speak to an animator, speak to the guy who's going to animate your object, and get some advice from him, because that's really useful. Okay, so step build. Let's go up here. You can see here that it's got the points are highlighted. Now, if we want to carry on building just using points, if we hold down Shift, Control and Alt, we can move these around, and we can do that at any time, no matter which one of these is highlighted. So with step build selected, we just need to sort of click down where we want points to be. So we click, and you can see I'm just left clicking on top of the surface of this pumpkin, and then you can click like this, and just keep doing that as much as you want, really. Roughly the same size. And when you're happy, just hold down Shift, drag, and it'll fill in the polygons. Drag, 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 and drag there. And you can see it following the contours of the pumpkin underneath, which is awesome. And this has, if you hover over step build, you can see all the instructions on how to use it. Just hold down Control. You can delete a whole polygon if you don't like it, and then press Shift to fill it in. Control to delete, Shift to fill, and fill like that. If you press Control to delete the polygon, and you don't want these verts, just hold Alt and it will delete. You don't have to be too precious about that either. It'll be the closest one. So if you're fairly close and you press Alt, it will still do it, which is pretty awesome. Hold down Shift, Control and Alt to move, and just position your verts like this. So that's pretty cool. And there's various other controls there, but that's the main ones that you'll probably use most, I would imagine. That's the ones I use most in this mode, and it's really awesome. Okay, let's go down to extend. Now, extend is pretty powerful. Now, if you just go to an edge, so you want to extend this one polygon upwards, hold down Shift, click near the edge and pull it up. Pull it up. Keep pulling it up like so, and you get edges pulled up. Undo. If you hold down Control and Shift and pull up, you'll pull up a whole row like so, and you can go this way too. And as you go, just hold down Shift, Control and Alt to adjust your polys here, to keep them nice and straight and in line like so. Have a look. Yeah, that's looking pretty cool. That's working really well. And you can see so far I've got 64 tries, not many at all. Hold down Shift and Control and I can continue that up through. Be careful not to cut through it too much over there. You can see it happening. Just pull these in. like so. Awesome. Again, in extend mode, if you hold down control, you can delete individual quads as you go through, which is cool. Now if you hold down shift and do a quad over here, if you simply just click on a corner and drag out, you will build a quad like this. And again, that's really powerful, really cool stuff. If you have a hole, let's delete one like that. If you have a hole and you hold down Control and Alt and you want to fill that, just drag from one side to another and it will fill that hole. Like this, Control, Alt, drag, drag. Just use Control, Shift and Alt to adjust the vert positions like so. There we go, you can see that working really well. And this could be an arm, for example. It could be an arm, it could be a human, it could be a monster, any creature, whatever. This technique works really well for anything. So, you know, I think Max is a really powerful retopology tool that you can use for any of your objects, including pumpkins, clearly. What's going on? There we go. So, optimize. Now with optimize, you've got to be very, very careful, because if you use this mode, do not leave it switched on when you're clicking around your scene. Let me just turn on edge faces here. Right, and I'll show you why. If you just click in your window, you see what it does? It starts to optimize your geometry based on the position of the cursor. So the closest geometry to your cursor, just a click, and it will start optimizing like crazy. So you need to be really careful when you're using that, not to leave it in that. I always use it and then come out and put it straight back into extend mode or step build, depending on which one of those two I'm using at the time. So, but optimize has some really cool features. So for example, if you wanted to, let's just control, let's go back into extend. See what I did there? I clicked on the outside. Luckily it did not affect my geometry in any way, but I almost made that mistake I told you not to do. So you just got to be careful when optimize is selected. So let's just control delete that. And let's just say I want to join these two verts here. If I click on optimize, hold down shift, drag from one to the other, it will join it up. I mean, that's not a very good thing to do, but sometimes you want to join verts and that's the way to do it. Let's just come out of optimize, go into extend, just because I get paranoid when I'm using it. This is crude, okay? This is not what you would normally do, but I'm just demonstrating this function. So optimize, hold shift, drag to one to the other, and it will weld those verts together. And shift, drag, weld. Really, really useful. And quite powerful. This whole system here is very powerful. Retopologizing tools. So what else can we do here? We can remove entire loops when in optimize mode just by holding I think it's shift and control, click on the loop, gone. It's quite dramatic, but sometimes you think, no, I've put too many in there, I think I'll just delete that. And that's fine, you can do that. Very, very easy. Optimize is really useful. So let's just, I can delete that, which is cool. can delete this whole row. If we're going to extend, just delete all of these so we can start. There we go. Get rid of those. Get rid of these. That's it. Hold down Shift and Control and carry on again as we were. Easy. So basically that's how you retopologize your geometry inside 3D Studio Max. Very, very useful, very powerful, and I think it's probably as good as any. Now I've used ZBrush, Z-Remesher, using the polygroups and various other techniques inside ZBrush, and it's very, it's very difficult. It's not, doesn't do a particularly good job inside, inside ZBrush. It's not what it was designed for. ZBrush is an awesome package, and there it is inside ZBrush. So I sculpted it in there very, very quickly. Only took me like 10 minutes, if that, and just exported it as an FBX, and then brought it inside Max to show you this this technique. So it's personally is as good as Maya for retopologizing your geometry. It's always good to have this, to have your retopologized mesh a really vibrant color, just so you can see it really easy. You don't have to keep it, just change the color of it something hideous, just so it stands out really well over the high detail. Really useful. You can just pull all them in right down to here, just like that. Yeah, it's getting a bit untidy now, because I'm rushing for you to show you these techniques. It's getting a bit messy. That's okay. It's just for you, just to see. And we can start going up from here. We have to tie this in around here. I think we need an extra loop in there. Here's a good example. I can just use Optimize, hold down Shift and weld that to there like that. Back to extend. Don't want to keep it in that mode. Keep your polygons roughly the same size. I know I haven't here, but you just want to make sure you keep them nice and tidy, nice and neat, and you can just carry on. Control Z is your friend. Control Alt just to close that gap. There we go. Just tidy them up. I'm rushing. I know it's not that clean, but you get the idea. And now I can go upwards. This could be an arm or a leg, whatever you want it to be. It's probably fairly dense, that. You can optimize that a lot more, I'd imagine. A lot more. It doesn't need to be that dense. You can probably take out every other. Yes, Control Alt in Optimize just takes out an edge like that. Control Z. Yeah, if you want to just draw an edge, define where an edge goes, triangle, just hold down Control and draw from point to point, and it will define that edge. If you want to turn that edge, you can do it the other way. So you flip the edge there, and just undo that. Yeah, you can optimize it if you want to, if it's too much for you. Take out every other loop, like so, and this way. There we go, every other loop gone. So so it's a lot tighter. Just give it a few more on that curve up there. There we go. Probably don't need that many there either. Get rid of some of these. Just holding down Shift and Control, and it's removing those loops when I click on them. So that's it. That's how you do. That's how you retopologize in 3D Studio Max. If we go back to modeling here, let's bring on my Scene Explorer, turn off High Poly, and there you go. You can see it there. There we go. We can smooth that out. Oops, that's me with that. See, that's what happens when you leave it on. It's very, it's not good. Just auto smooth that. Turn off edges. There we go. So we've got our pumpkin slowly coming together, and once we've finished this, we can then can use the high poly to bake all the details back on as a normal map, obviously. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.